and welcome to my channel. I'm Joey, the Veiled Cottage Witch, and if you are new to my channel, I am a green witch and a folk witch, among other things. I do several things, but most of all, what lives in my heart is I am an apothecary, and I grow and have a relationship with plants. And I have started about 14 to 15 weeks ago. I started a magical plant series, and I've been taking you around my ritual space, my ritual garden, my sacred space. I have a beautiful garden full of ritual plants, and I have just kind of taken you a tour of my plant spirit allies. And we are finally at the last in this series. And I promise this is not the end. I promise to take you outside the circle to other plants that I grow and have a relationship with. We are going to venture out as soon as the winter is over and spring comes back, and a lot of my plant spirit allies such as yarrow and mullein and rose begin to come back. I plan to pick this series up and begin to venture out of the ritual circle and begin to talk about other plants that I grow outside of this circle. But today we are going to do part 2 of the mints series. Last week we talked about peppermint and lemon mint. Today we are going to talk about spearmint, which is one of my favorite mints, and sweet mint, which is common mint. Now, common mint is relative to whatever is the common mint that grows near you culturally. So that may be peppermint, that may be spearmint, that may be chocolate mint, that may be sweet mint. So whatever commonly grows, that is common mint. So we begin with spearmint today. So spearmint, its Latin term is Mentha spicata. Its folk names are brown mint, garden mint, green mint, lamb mint, mackerel mint, Miss Mint, which is Irish Gaelic, Our Lady's mint, spearmint, yerba buena, which is Spanish, and common mint, of course. The element is water. The gender is feminine. The planet is Venus, and the day of the week it is most powerful is Friday. So there's lots of folklore for spearmint. In the 16th century, the name spearmint was coined due to the shape of the leaves, reflecting warriors' spears. So instead of the rounded mint such as peppermint and lemon mint and sweet mint, we have these spear-shaped mint leaves. So they look like little warrior spears. So very indicative of the warrior spears. So in biblical references to spearmint suggest it was of such high value that it was used as tithes by the Pharisees along with anise and cumin. So you would offer this instead of coins or gold. You would offer spearmint, which I think is fascinating, to offer plants as offering. I often do it in my personal practice. So that's a little bit of validation for myself. It makes me feel like I'm doing something as old as time when I am offering to my deities plants. So I was very touched when I found that out. I find that fascinating, which is why I love folklore. If you followed my channel, if you follow this series, you know how important folklore is to me. Now, in Roman mythology, this will sound familiar. Proserpine, Pluto's wife, was said to have transformed a hated rival into the spearmint plant. Now, when we talked about peppermint last week, we talked about Persephone and Mentha, and how she was so jealous of Hades and Hades' affection towards Mentha, and how she turned Mentha into the peppermint plant. So we can see the Roman and the Greek parallels in this story. So, you know, I find this comes up a lot. You know, the Roman and the Greek parallels, the Egyptian and the different cultural, they all have their own stories. And I find this very fascinating because even in modern times, we have urban legends. You know, we have the Lady in White or La Llorona, and everyone has their own stories, no matter where you're from. You know, we have Mithras, and then we have Jesus, you know, and so everyone has their own stories, but they all come from basically the same kinds of basis. It's all the same stories, just different players in those stories. It's all the same point, right? So I find that fascinating. Now, in the 14th century, we find traces of spearmint in early versions of toothpaste. Way back then, they knew that it was minty fresh, right? It was used during that time for whitening the teeth. And Turner, who was born 1508 and died 1568, was known as the father of British botany. And he believed spearmint was good for, quote, ye stomach, and is pleasant in sauces. So we can thank him for that. Culpeper, a physician astrologer who fought in his country's civil war, suggests that spearmint should never be given to a wounded man because it will prevent his wound from healing, which counteracts a lot of recent findings. So take that with a grain of salt. Culpeper is a very famous physician astrologer, but we know from recent findings that spearmint is very healing, especially for the lungs. So, you know, we take it a little bit and then we learn from it. So it's also considered bad luck to cut spearmint with, or any type of mint, with iron, because it would break its charm or its magic. This species of mint, also known as mackerel mint and Our Lady's mint, was a pun on the word muns, a word meaning building or institution where coins were produced. So think about a mint where coins were made. So the name spear refers to the spear-like form of its floral blossoming. Hi, bee! The bees are still here. It's December and the bees are still here. They love my plants still. I love it. Spearmint was once macerated and added to milk to lengthen the shelf life and keep it from curdling. And we learned that last week from peppermint that you could put mint leaves into fresh flowers to keep the flowers lasting longer. So mint just keeps everything fresh. What can I say? It was also recommended for use with people with sensitive stomachs or young people with feeble digestive powers. But it was not recommended, however, when a fever was present. Something about spearmint does something strange with fevers. Who's to know what it did? Not quite sure. Now on to the magical properties. Well, it's used in all types of healing spells, especially in aiding illnesses and diseases of the lungs, as I said before. Diffusing the essential oil increases and sharpens mental powers. It keeps that mind sharp. Stuffing a sachet with the dried leaves and placing this under your pillow or next to you while you sleep provides protection. We learned this a little bit when we talked about mugwort and how it protects you and aids in prophetic dreaming. But this actually adds protection maybe from nightmares or, any kind of thievery. Utilizing visualization when inhaling the scent of peppermint is said to speed healing and recovery of the body. Pack the dried leaves inside a green clothed poppet for best results. Use spearmint in love and romance spells to entice passion. And it is a nice addition to love potions and sachets, going back to Proserpine and Pluto. All right. And other than that, it can be used for purification, cleansing negative energy, attracting and protecting your money, sharpening the mind, of course, and communication. Now, medicinal properties. It is anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal, antioxidant, helps balance hormones, helps reduce blood pressure, and may improve memory and learning. It treats headaches, digestive disorders, minor ailments, common colds, asthma, jaundice symptoms. It strengthens the stomach and treats flatulence disorders. Lovely. Okay, on to personal uses. Remember when we talked about the warrior, the shape of the spears? Now, spearmint is sacred to the warrior goddess aspect of the Morrigan. So I use them in my personal practice to honor the goddess, the Morrigan. I work with her, especially in her aspect of sovereignty and her aspect of the sovereign queen, and particularly the warrior aspect of Bive and the battle crow. So I will often make a spearmint tea to offer her and to share with her. And I will often offer spearmint leaves to her. I like to use that. I will even make an offertory oil, or an anointing oil, I should say, that has spearmint as one of the ingredients. So that's a way that I use spearmint in my personal practice. Other than that, it is in my protection oil, which is on sale on my website and at Market, if you get me at Market, for $8. It is also in my Yamaya oil, anointing oil, for $8. It's also in my Horned God oil for $8. And in my Libra oil for $16. And I use it at my altar as a purification incense. I love the smell of this stuff. I wish there was smell-o-vision. It smells so good, you guys. I have the recipe in one of my journals. I would have to hunt it down. But this stuff is great after an energy work session, which I have one this afternoon. I love to burn this just as a general, like, cleansing incense. I love it. And it's also in my Spearmint floor wash. You guys, I can't talk about this enough. I talked about it last week. This has all 4 mints. You brew it like a tea, you let it cool, you put it in a spray bottle, or you can mop your floor with it. You spray it on furniture, on curtains, on furniture, on floors, what have you. There's not anything you really can't spray it on. And it makes your room or your house or your furniture minty fresh. It adds prosperity and protection to everything. I love it. Okay, on to sweet mint. Sweet mint, I don't have a whole lot because we covered everything last week when we covered peppermint. So you can think of this as common mint. This is mint, you guys. Across the board, common mint. So the way you can tell the difference, okay, and I'm gonna run up to the camera here. All right, so I have spearmint and I have sweet mint. So this is spearmint. Okay, so you can see the stem is green. For sweet mint, it's reddish. Okay, and then its leaves of the spearmint is matte, and then it's very glossy. Sweet mint is glossy, as you can see. It's rounded and glossy, very shiny. All right. And if you taste it, it's kind of bitter, whereas it shouldn't be, right? Because it's sweet mint. But whereas peppermint and spearmint is kind of sweet. So you can see the different shapes there. So there you go. So, sweet mint, we covered a lot of folklore last week. So if you want to, if you didn't catch last week's episode, I would highly recommend that you go back and watch that one, because peppermint really covers all kinds of common mint. So I'm going to skip to the magical properties. So we've got love and attraction, going back to the myths of Persephone and Mentha, or Proserpine and Pluto. Hospitality and welcome. You know, there's mint in all kinds of teas. If you look at the back of almost every kind of teas that you can buy, there's almost always mint in all kinds of teas that you buy. There's a reason for that. It's because mint is so common. It's you sit around and you drink tea and it almost always has mint in it, because mint is something that stirs that communication. You know, oh, this is nice and minty fresh, and people have good breath, and you know, you want to talk, you know? So hospitality and welcome. Protection and cleansing. We talked about that with the Spearmint floor wash, you know. It's just, we associate that mint with cleansing, with clean, you know. And mental clarity and focus. Hello, my child. There's River again. It's such a stimulating scent. So at almost all kinds of mint will have that clarity and focus to it. So on to medicinal properties. It aids digestion. It helps in headache relief. I had a little headache this morning, so I've got a little bit of the Skull Cap headache release that I talked about last week, that has the peppermint essential oil. So I have a little bit of that at my temples. My headache is going away. Thank you, peppermint. Oral hygiene, again, antibacterial, antifungal, fights infection, and helps control IBS, again, with flatulence and digestion there. Now on to personal uses. I use sweet mint in every single money spell that I do. I want money to come to me sweetly. Sweet and easy. That's what I like in my money spells. So what I do is I like to put sweet mint onto a dressing for my money candles. So like a green candle, I will take some dried sweet mint, powder it, and put it on, after some oil, put it on a sigil. I will also put it in a money register to bring that money in sweetly. You could dry it and sprinkle it around. Let's say you're setting up your products to sell. You could sprinkle it around on the floor to attract that money. You could also make it into an oil or a spray. Spray it on you, or spray it around the room to attract that kind of easy money, kind of come in. This is where we make money, you know? So that's like for a business meeting, like come in, this is where money is made kind of thing. So that's my personal uses for common mint or sweet mint, other than what I have on sale. So as usual, you can go to my website, theveiledcottagewitch.com, and go to my store. If you, at checkout, you can put in the code word veiled to get free shipping. Save yourself $7 for that shipping cost. Just code word veiled, free shipping. And other than that, you can find me at Bisbee Saturday Market on Saturdays. I'm there most Saturdays. I am the most obnoxious tent there. You will find me no problem. I promise you, you'll find me. I'm a big purple tent with the veiled cottage witch in front and in back. Bright and bold, you can't miss me. Bisbee, Arizona. Other than that, I am online. You can't miss me. theveiledcottagewitch.com. Other than that, I hope you have a lovely day. Please check out my other magical plant series. I have a lot of these. I also do a little bit of some deck reviews. I'll be doing quite a few of those coming up in the winter time. I'll also be doing some quick classes. I will also be doing some discussions on some things that I really want to get out there. And I'll be keeping you guys busy this winter, keeping myself busy as well. I'm going to try to release videos every Monday when I can. Other than that, live your best life and live for yourself. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.